I'm Dea Loren.
And I'm Damien.
I'm a mother, wife, and indie gospel recording artist.
I'm a father, husband, and I'm in car sales.
But we make time to DIY together to the rhythm of life on Rhythm and Renovations.
Hey, welcome back.
Hey.
Damien and Dea, and so glad to be here again with you today. And today we're just talking about our deck.
Yeah, our deck, which is a monstrous build, but glory to God, it got done.
This is a labor of love.
For me.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
For
literally. Rotator cuff damage.
So let's talk about how it all got started.
Yeah. So we originally had, it was a 12 by 14 foot deck, 14 by 12, whatever. But it was just small. And we really like to entertain all the time. We always like to have people over. And so we were like, this is
dreaming.
Just,
we were dreaming about like,
what if our deck was bigger?
What would it look like? And we love to get graphing paper out and start kind of like sketching.
We had a friend, Carl.
Oh, that is true.
Carl had he's a master carpenter, and he showed us a picture of a deck he had done.
He did not show us a picture. I saw the picture on Facebook.
Somewhere. We saw a picture of a deck that he had done.
It always becomes we when stuff happens. Anyways, I saw the picture of the deck and I showed him.
So Dea saw a picture of the deck and showed it to me, and it was really elaborate. It was like concentric circles or something. It was just a big circular deck, and we were like, man, that would look great, if we did something like that. And so we just talking about it, and we actually asked him, we invited him over and to say, give us an idea about something, if we could do something like that.
He is awesome. He was great, but it's just, we wanted to do more of the work again. And so it turned out that it
budget friendly.
Yeah. And so it's still budget friendly is relative because we ended up spending about $20,000.
Our budget.
On it.
So when that didn't work out, she was just like, well, it's okay. I'll just get you to build it. And I'm like, who? Who's going to build a deck? And she was like, you can build it. And I was like, I've never built a deck before. And she was like, that's okay, baby. You can do it. And you're amazing. And I'm like, yeah, you talking to somebody else? Because I don't know how to build a deck.
Thank you.
So I was like, I don't know how to build a deck. And she was like, you can do it. You can learn how to build it. And you can just look it up and figure it out. So
because he'd already built some things in our house. Like you'll see when we talk about the kitchen, our refrigerator's round. I mean, that's small.
It's minor things.
Compared to, but I knew he was handy. And
I can swing a hammer.
All of the DIY shows I watch, people do all kinds of stuff. I'm like, they're laying foundations, they're building houses, they're making their own decks. I saw that something. He could do it. He could do it.
So
he could do it. He was very unsure. I was not unsure. But of course, I was not the one that had to do the work. But still, what I did to help him feel confident was I went on Lowe's because Lowe's has a planner that you can actually build out your deck on Lowe's. Basically allowed me to be my own architect. And so I went out and drew the shape of the deck and the size on Lowe's, and then it spits out a model of the deck and also all of the materials that you need. Everything from the number of screws you need to the number of nails and all of the wood. So from that, we had an estimate of how much it was going to cost. Most of the time, most of the material of the cost was the lumber. Lumber was super expensive.
Yeah.
And that was before.
And that was really just for an open deck. That didn't include plans for enclosing it.
That's true, because
that's a whole nother story. So
they didn't have the ability to make a covered deck.
Right.
So we had to kind of
that was improvisation.
Estimate. Yes. We had to estimate how much it was going to cost and what kind of materials we needed for the covered part.
Yeah. So anyway, so we got it all designed out on Lowe's Deck Builder. So we say, okay, this is all the materials we'll need, and so we just started ordering stuff and have everything delivered. And our yard and driveway looked like a lumber yard. We had so much wood and just stuff being delivered every day, and people were like, "What y'all doing over there?" All the neighbors like peeking over,
They just
trying
walk
to
by.
figure. Like, why y'all have, like, what are you building over there? Like an extension to the house? And we were like, pretty much. And but I still didn't know what I was doing, and so we had all of this lumber and everything.
And it gave specs so
and
he could know
specs.
what to do.
It wasn't as clear cut as it was like, this is
Build a footing.
This is how it's supposed to be, but it doesn't give you step one, do this, step two.
That's true.
I need directions, because I built and put things together, but it's like, put this here, put this there, do this.
So when you made the surround, you didn't have directions.
It was again, improvisation. So
Is that a word? The way you're saying it.
yeah, it's a word. It's a word. That's
Okay,
a word.
go ahead. I know.
So what we first had to do, because the other deck, it was so much smaller than what we were planning on, we actually cut trees down.
Yeah.
And so because our tree line was pretty much to where this deck ends, just a little bit farther out. But we were like, well, we won't have any yard if we build the deck as large as we want to build it.
And that was actually a part of the cost. So that $20,000 also included moving the tree line back.
Yeah, so we had trees cut down, had the yard
Land
graded,
yep.
and then I started digging holes. And that was a hole because I started digging holes in like November.
Yes, but wait, forget that the original. So one of the things we've learned since we've been doing DIY, since we came to the house, is that professionals don't do it right. So we don't have to be like perfect. My husband is a perfectionist until he gets tired. Then when he gets tired, then they're just whatever, it don't matter. Like, baby, that's not straight. I don't care. But
okay.
yes.
So I tried because I wanted to look a certain way. I got a little bit
until
of OCD.
he gets tired.
Then okay.
But anyways, the original deck was basically hanging on by a thread.
Oh,
we
yeah,
didn't even know it.
Yeah. So when I tore the other deck down, it was. Posts really weren't in the ground. They were just like sitting on top of the grass.
Which you're not supposed to do.
And
because it could rot.
I don't know if it had already rotted. I don't know what was going on, but that was the fun part, tearing stuff down. And you just get to and just go in and just start ripping stuff up and just make sure you don't tear the house up, because I had to figure out how it was connected to the house, but just make sure everything was just broken down and just removed, properly. When I again started reading and going online, and so I did a lot of Google research and YouTube videos, and kind of had to piece a bunch of stuff together because nobody was explicit. Like, for a deck this size, this is how you do it. It was like, well, you need to do some footers, and so.
Well, what size? We didn't talk about that.
Oh.
So we set out to build. The covered deck was 15 by 25, I think.
16 by.
No, that's what it ended up
16
being.
by 26.
But our design was 15 by 25. But then he realized, because the math, don't be mathing all the time. And so when he actually put it in the ground, he's like, "Oops, I didn't adjust for such and such."
Yeah.
So now we have 16 by 26.
16. So yeah.
And then the lower deck is 15 by 20.
16 by 19, something close to that. 15 by 20, 16 by 19, something close to that. So because we had to build a deck this size, I had to get permits. Mm-hmm. And so part of the permits was that you had to look at all the different codes. And so part of the codes talked about how deep your footers needed to be.
Yeah, so that was good.
And so so we went and got like one of the big augers. Because one of my neighbors, he was like, here's a post hole digger.
We have the best neighbors.
And I'm like, this little post hole digger is only so big. It's just a lot of dirt, and it's clay. So
and you had to like dig down until you hit a certain level.
I had to go down to I hit basically a hard ground. The first time I failed my inspection because some of the holes weren't deep enough or hadn't met hard, and the ground was still soft. But even before then, it kept raining, and then the water would fill up the holes, and mud. It was in the winter.
Yeah.
Because I started in November,
right
after Thanksgiving. Was it or right before Thanksgiving? I don't know. Somewhere around Thanksgiving. But then it would rain, and I would try to cover everything up, and it would just with tarp, and then the water would just go down into the holes with the tarp. even with bricks, it would just slide. It was just so much water, and I had to pump out water all the time out of the holes, and then try to scrape out the mud, but they said I didn't pass because it was too soft. I had to dig down some more. Second time the guy came, and the lady, it was only like 5 or 6 holes. I have like 30 something holes in the ground. I had to dig.
What's that mean?
Yeah, it's like 30. Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot of holes. But everybody did commercial. And we finally found one guy who did residential, and he came out and they're like, well, if you dig down another 18 inches, and one of the holes is so deep by the house, I could get in the hole. And I'm digging out. I'm like, how deep do this hole need to be? I mean, like, this is ridiculous. But anyway, so he was like, if you dig another 18 inches, pack it with gravel for another 12 to 18 inches, and then do your concrete. That should be good enough that should pass your inspection. And so I had to dig down and put the gravel in and tamp it all down, and that was good. And we had to order a lot of concrete.
A lot, baby.
I'm sorry.
We're taking a long time.
I'm sorry. I like I
detailed.
like to talk.
He's very detailed.
Well, y'all wanted to know, we were trying to tell the people about what it took to build this deck. Anyway.
And then we did all the painting. The next 2 months were like painting. My husband put screen around the enclosed porch. And then we also did all the decorating over that time period. Yeah. So I did a lot before that. So I'm like one of those people, I'm a planner. So I bought everything. It was all in the garage. So by the time he got finished, then I was just able to pull stuff out of the garage and stage and kind of tell him what I wanted, especially for like our curtains, because I wanted something that kind of stuck out from the wall and didn't lay flat against it, so that it could kind of have a little bit of depth. I wish it could have stuck out further. We ended up getting something that stuck out about 6 to 8 inches from the wall, but I wanted something like 12 inches. I wanted something like this, but oh well, got what I got.
Yeah.
And he built.
Yeah, I built all the seating.
Yep.
I built the tables. I made the cushions to sit. So I did all that. The benches.
I did all. So I was in charge of all the painting, the staining. The only thing I didn't stain was our ceiling. So my husband did that.
I did that as I went.
Yeah, but I did all of the finish work.
Yeah. Needless to say, it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
So thank God.
No, even the building inspector was like, you did some extra stuff that didn't have to do, but I was like, I just want to make sure it's right, and I don't want to fall down in 6 months to a year.
So then afterwards, I did like an online estimate of how much it would cost to build a similar deck, which was a little bit hard to gauge because a lot of the estimators don't include a covered deck. Mm-hmm. So for a similar deck, it was somewhere like $50,000 to $60,000, and we, again, including the grading of our yard, including moving our trees back, and the lumber and all the materials and paint, we spent $20,000 to $25,000, I'll say, because I don't know if I'm including all the decor, but yeah. So with all the work that we did with the deck and making it bigger, better, more beautiful, we ended up spending anywhere from $20,000 to $25,000, again, with all of the work included, but we would get a $50,000 to $60,000 return on that. So net, that's about 25 to 30 plus 50 to 60, yeah, 35. Math. Yeah. Like I said, we had problems with the math, but $25,000 to $35,000 over our investment in the deck. So we definitely got money back. The sweat equity was worth it because we have parties out here. Memorial Day, we normally have something where we invite all our friends over. We normally have anywhere from 30 to 60 people just throughout the house and on the deck congregating. And like I said, as far as us, you would think we'd be out here all the time, but we're not. No. I like to look at it. So I just walk by and I'm like, hey, oh, look at my deck, it's so pretty.
But, we have plans because we can come out in the winter time if we want, because we got the heaters.
We added heaters, the electric. So we did have to pay somebody, but it's a guy that we used before who's been very flexible with us because with us being DIYers, we oftentimes want like, okay, you do part of it, and then
I'll do the rest.
my husband does the rest, like with installing lights, and a lot of electricians don't like to do that, but he's very flexible. And so he came out and drilled holes from the house out here so we could run it.
Because we didn't, I didn't want to run the electricity.
But you can't. It was cold.
Well, yeah, because to make sure it was up to code, I was like, again, I know my limits, and I didn't want to run the electricity.
But you couldn't anyway.
I could have figured it out.
No,
I could have read the code.
They needed it to be certified.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, they did. They needed a certified electrician to sign off that it was
You couldn't
done.
have done it. So
Okay.
there.
So building the foundation, I really learned a lot of different things about it. That you have to have a sturdy foundation in order to support a long-lasting structure.
And the weight.
And the weight of it.
Yeah.
And we can really apply that to our relationship. And so we have to have a strong foundation in order to build a long-lasting marriage, a long-lasting friendship.
For us, that foundation is God.
Yeah. Our relationships with Christ really is what set the foundation up for our individual lives to grow as strong, long-lasting lives individually, but also raising a family, raising kids, on our jobs, just doing DIY, to not get on each other's nerves all the time, to go back. That's still going to have, less, because a lot of prayer involved. Only a lot of prayer to know, to get wisdom about how to do it and what to do, because it was a lot of prayer and YouTube. Because when I saw some on YouTube, I'm like, God, help me to figure out, understand what I'm watching. I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't understand these codes I'm reading. Help me to understand it. And God would give me wisdom and insight. But having that foundation was really important. Trusting my wife, to her believing in me and saying, baby, you can do it. And I'm like, no, I can't. And she's like, I believe in you. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? You sure about that?
And you did it.
And I did it, praise God. And but it was again, it was a lot of prayer involved. But again, a lot of relationship building, because I had to trust her, and we had to trust she had to trust me that I'm gonna build something that wasn't gonna fall down.
So, anyways, can I speak?
Yeah, you can speak. You can
Thank
speak
you.
anytime.
Thank you.
You can speak anytime.
Y'all, thank y'all
So,
for coming.
and I'm just playing. Go
Thank
ahead.
y'all for watching. We have had such a good time, mostly with him talking and me looking at him. But anyway.
She does the talking most of the time, y'all know that.
How did they know that?
Because this is episode 3.
Anyways, so hey, watch us again on our next episode, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Have a great day.
Hit that button.
God bless.